So, yeah, yesterday's game happened, and I think everybody knows that whatever they drew up at the end of the game did not happen. Did not happen. Sophie Cunningham made an incredible read. The play wasn't great. And in the end, it is hilarious. Aaliyah Boston did it Thomas Bryant. If you guys don't remember, when LeBron James hit the shot to make him the all-time leading scorer, there's a meme where Thomas Bryant is looking for the ball on the inside. As Caitlin Clark is shooting that game winner, Aaliyah Boston is looking for the ball on the inside. But a lot of people are using the response to this because we know that this is exactly what happened because, again, you've got Sophie Cunningham didn't follow the plan, won anyway, reposting a Ken Swift meme. Mo Billings' last pick, Justine Passat reposting it. The whole team commenting on the photo. First of all, Justine Passat's not going to play this year. And I genuinely, if Justine Passat's not pissed, she should be. Pretty much every single dev contract player has played some minutes, and they told Passat before, they said before the first preseason game, that they weren't going to play any of their dev players. They had no intention of doing it. But a lot of people are taking the fact that they went rogue as almost like dissent against the coaches. Dissent against the organization, that the players are turning on the coaches, the players aren't playing for Steph anymore. And this could be not further from the truth, or there could be truth into it. And I'll explain the two different situations because there is nuance to this. There is absolutely some nuance to this entire conversation. And if we're being real here, a lot of people are looking at this and trying to compare it to the fact that, she completely lost the dressing room in Vanderbilt. And we'll know in the next few games whether or not this has been a negative thing or whether or not a coach has lost the locker room. And again, I'm putting it out there right now, not one player dislikes Stephanie White personally that is currently on this team. I can be almost certain of that. I can say that with 99% certainty. But again, I don't know if they dislike Christy Sides personally. She was the bad coach. And again, anyone who's been on a team knows sometimes you can like your coach and sometimes you can like your coach as a person and you can just never want to play for them again. I've had plenty of coaches like that through my life where I'm like, I genuinely, I have nothing as a person, I just can't play for them anymore. And anyone who's played sports has had situations like that. And I think the reaction to this, obviously the public reaction is the public reaction. But if Stephanie White, we don't know what exactly the type of coach Stephanie White is because we're not behind closed doors. If Stephanie White is a coach that encourages players that is going to encourage players to make reads, even if it's against a set play, which I don't believe she is, but again, I don't know this because I'm only judging based on what we've seen publicly, then this isn't going to cause anything. If it turns out that Stephanie White's one of those coaches, that's like, it's my way or no way. And people are saying, oh, Austin Kelly drew it up. Yes, but who hired Austin Kelly and gave him that role? That's Stephanie White okaying it all. If it's a coach's way or no way, and there's tons of coaches like that, by the way. There's tons of good coaches that are like that. I remember I would have genuine conversations with, again, one of the greatest Irish coaches of all time took my team for preseason 1 year, and it was I think I made a read or something that was against what he said, and he said to me, and he was like, look, I know, I was trying to explain it, I was like, look, what you did was right, but that's not the point. He's like, it's if people just start going rogue and making reads, the offense that he wanted to run didn't work. And it was it's as long as everybody is making reads. Because if you do this, then 4 other people have to be on the same page, and that's not the case. There are coaches that have different philosophies. There are really good coaches that have different philosophies. I've played with some unbelievable coaches that have the philosophy of it's my way or no way because they like to control the game. And I've played for some really bad coaches that just let people go rogue. And it just all depends on how Stephanie White is. The Indiana Fever just won a game because they went rogue. I don't look too much into this one here because I'm sorry, the game's not over. Caitlin Clark, I'd say, is not expecting to be subbed out of this possession. At this stage, Caitlin Clark is locking in, thinking, fuck this, I got to get a stop. Like, she didn't miss a high five. Like, I don't think there's anything in this. People are looking too far into this. But from a team perspective, in one of the high points of the season, if all of a sudden it turns out that the Indiana Fever or the coaches and the coaching staff are upset that they made a game-winning play, that's when you can lose a locker room. That's when you can lose a locker room, because at the end of the day, the players have to be all on the same page. And you better believe, if you're Caitlin Clark, the way you want to play is, I'm going to make reads. I'm going to make reads. If you're certain players, if you're Leah Boston, you want to make reads. And if you are like somebody, again, I'm just trying, Lexi Hull just does her own thing. She can do either. If you're Kelsey Mitchell, you just want to go meep meep and run to the basket or shoot some step backs. It's one of those things now where I'm like, this could be a moment where if it turns out that Stephanie White is completely fine with this and is encouraging this type of basketball and is encouraging players to play with a bit more freedom, which I don't think that's the case, but you just never know. I could be wrong. I'm not in the locker room. I could be wrong, so I'm not speaking of anything like it's fact. If that is the case, then absolutely, like, this is nothing and it's a positive situation. If Stephanie White's going to criticize this, that's when you can lose a locker room. Again, criticizing players for taking initiative and winning a game is never going to go well. But again, I have seen coaches do that. And if it even, I mean this when I say this, if it even goes as far as Stephanie White saying, if the phrase, we got lucky for going rogue, comes out of her mouth, or if she tries to encourage them to, stay with the game plan no matter what, this could be a shit show. That's how you can lose a locker room. But I also don't think that's the case. I think Stephanie White is just going to keep doing what she's doing. I don't think they're going to crit. I think she's going to be happy for this play, and then she's going to want to continue to control everything, because she is, by all accounts, a good people person in the locker room. Like, by all accounts, she is a good people person. And look, the whole team is hyping them up going rogue. So there's no way that there's not questions between the team and the tactics. There's no way. Like, I would be shocked, completely shocked, if there are players on the team that are not questioning their tactics. Like, that are not questioning the way they're playing. That are not questioning, because they have the 9th best offensive rating in the league. And yeah, it is. I would be very, very concerned if it turns out that Stephanie White isn't happy with what happened. Because, again, there are good coaches that aren't. And to be honest, maybe I'm not. If the team goes rogue, I think they'll play better. Because, again, that shit happens. But anyway, yeah, I'll see you guys.